Have you ever felt that as you age, your relationship with your spouse is changing in ways you never expected? As we grow older, our relationships evolve, and for many, this means facing uncomfortable truths about the connection we once shared with our partners. In this video, we'll explore why many women, especially after the age of 60, begin to feel a growing distance from their husbands. From feeling overlooked and burdened to the frustrations that seem to intensify over time, we'll dive deep into the emotional and psychological shifts that happen in long-term marriages as the years go by. By watching until the end, you'll understand the real reasons behind these changes and what can be done to address them. Whether you're in a similar situation or just curious about the dynamics of aging relationships, this video will offer you valuable insights on how expectations, health issues, and living habits can significantly impact marital happiness. Stay with us to learn how to navigate these challenges and ensure that your relationship remains strong and fulfilling, no matter what stage of life you're in. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Do not overexert yourself when hungry. My dear friends, as we grow older, our bodies become more delicate, and it's vital to listen to their needs with greater care, especially when the day begins. One of the most important things that elderly people must remember is to never, under any circumstance, push themselves into physical exertion when they are hungry. I cannot stress this enough. When we wake up, our bodies are still in that fragile state of transition, shifting from the calm rest of the night into the busy world of activity. To ask our tired bodies to perform demanding physical tasks right after waking, especially when the stomach is empty, can lead to some very serious and sometimes dangerous consequences. Imagine this: your body, still recovering from the deep rest of the night, is deprived of the fuel it so desperately needs to function properly. Without that essential nourishment, your muscles and organs are starved for energy, and they simply cannot handle the intense demands that come with vigorous activities, whether it's gardening, exercising, or even lifting something as simple as a heavy bag. Your body is not equipped for this kind of pressure, and the results can be frightening. An increase in heart rate, a spike in blood pressure, and, worst of all, damage to the arteries, which may lead to the unthinkable, a stroke. The risk is especially high for the elderly, whose cardiovascular systems have already faced the natural wear and tear of time. These bodies, once strong and resilient, are now far more fragile and less capable of handling the stress we might once have been able to endure with ease. Let me take a moment to remind you. In the early hours of the day, our bodies naturally release a surge of adrenaline to help us wake up, activating the nervous and cardiovascular systems. This surge increases our blood pressure, which is a normal, healthy response. But when we force ourselves to jump into strenuous activity without taking the time to fuel up first, the damage can be significant. The plaques in our arteries, which can accumulate over years, become more vulnerable to rupture under such stress. And when that happens, the risk of a stroke skyrockets. I can't emphasize enough how essential it is to care for our hearts, our most vital organ, with the gentleness it deserves. That's why, in my humble opinion, the best thing you can do in the morning is to slow down, give yourself grace, and prioritize your health above all. Start with a light warm-up to ease into the day, perhaps a gentle stretch or a calm walk. And then, nourish your body with a simple yet wholesome breakfast, full of the nutrients it needs to thrive. Think about fruits, whole grains, or a warm cup of tea to start your day. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Only after you've given yourself that necessary fuel should you consider engaging in any intense physical activity. Gentle exercises like Tai Chi or a walk around the block are wonderful ways to stay fit, and they also serve to protect your cardiovascular system in the most compassionate way possible. Remember, health is not just about pushing ourselves harder every day. It's about honoring the wisdom of our bodies and taking the time to treat them with the respect they deserve. 2. Do not stand up too quickly after waking up. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a crucial piece of advice that we often overlook but can make a world of difference in how we feel throughout the day. Please, never rush to stand up immediately after waking up. It's so tempting, isn't it? The alarm rings, and we're eager to jump out of bed, almost as if we're racing against time, trying to get a head start on the day. But I want to urge you to reconsider, especially if you're in your later years. This seemingly harmless habit can pose real health risks that are particularly dangerous for elderly individuals. When we sleep, our bodies enter a state of deep rest. Our heart rate slows, our blood pressure drops, and our organs operate at a more relaxed pace. This is our body's natural way of recharging, preparing us for the day ahead. But here's the thing: when we wake up, our body needs time to readjust. If we rush to stand up too quickly, we put undue strain on our fragile systems, especially the nervous and cardiovascular systems, which may be weaker with age. The result can be alarming: dizziness, loss of balance, fainting, or even the risk of a stroke. These aren't just possibilities, they're real dangers. I've seen people in their older years who suffer from orthostatic hypotension, a condition where a rapid change in position leads to a sudden drop in blood pressure, causing the dreaded lightheadedness or even a complete loss of control. This isn't something we should be brushing off, because it's a sign that your body is crying out for a little more time and care. And that's what I want to emphasize today. This small, simple act of giving yourself a moment after waking up can protect your health in ways you may never have imagined. But that's not all. Let's talk about your spine and joints, which, when you think about it, have spent hours in a resting position. They need time to adjust to the sudden demand of supporting your weight. When we stand up too hastily, we risk pulling a muscle, straining our back, or even causing serious spinal injuries. It's heartbreaking to think about how many people suffer needlessly from something so avoidable. So, here's my heartfelt advice. After you wake up, don't just spring out of bed like a racehorse ready to charge. Take a few moments to lie still, even just for a minute or two. Give your body the time it needs to gently adjust. Then, slowly stretch your arms and legs, awakening your circulation. Let the blood flow back to where it needs to be. Once you feel the calmness settling in, slowly sit up on the edge of the bed and sit there for a while. This process is so simple, yet so powerful. It will help your body gradually adjust, minimizing the risk of dizziness, fainting, or any physical strain. Trust me, taking this little extra time in the morning can be life-changing. It's not just about avoiding physical injury. It's about taking care of yourself in the most fundamental way. Don't rush it. Your body deserves this kindness. You deserve this kindness. 3. Do not overexert yourself when going to the bathroom. Dear audience, it may surprise you to learn that something as simple as using the bathroom can pose serious risks to our health as we grow older, especially when it comes to overexertion, which many of us often overlook. The act of straining during bathroom visits, particularly first thing in the morning, is a common yet dangerous habit. As we wake, our body is already in a delicate state due to the processes that have been at work overnight. Digestion and metabolism are still in motion. And so, the natural urge to use the restroom emerges. But pushing ourselves too hard in this state can lead to terrifying consequences. When we strain our bodies, the pressure inside our chest rises dramatically, which disturbs the flow of blood back to the heart. This not only makes it harder for our heart to pump blood, but can also reduce blood circulation to crucial organs like the brain and heart itself. For elderly individuals, this moment of strain can trigger a sudden drop in blood pressure, leading to dizziness, lightheadedness, and even fainting. Imagine the horror of losing control of your body and falling, especially when your cardiovascular system has weakened with age. The risks are real, and the consequences of pushing ourselves too hard can be devastating, potentially leading to heart attacks or strokes, which is every person's nightmare. But the dangers don't stop there. The intense pressure caused by overexerting yourself can strain the blood vessels in other sensitive areas, including the brain and abdomen. The force exerted can even cause blood vessels to rupture, resulting in potentially life-threatening conditions such as hemorrhagic strokes or severe intestinal problems. This is not just a matter of discomfort, it's a matter of life and death. Our bodies are more fragile as we age, and our hearts and brains, which were once able to withstand stress, can no longer endure such pressures without significant risks. So, what can we do to protect ourselves and our loved ones? It starts with recognizing the importance of listening to our bodies, especially when performing tasks that seem so trivial, like using the restroom. We must prioritize comfort and relaxation during these moments. There's no rush. Take the time to sit, breathe, and allow your body to naturally carry out its processes without forcing it. Never forget that your health is a precious gift, and it's vital to respect your body's pace. If you find yourself struggling in the bathroom, don't ignore it. Take action. Focus on incorporating more fiber into your diet, hydrate well, and adjust your eating habits to encourage smoother digestion. This simple yet essential change can significantly ease the process. It's also wise to avoid distractions like your phone or a book while in the bathroom. Though it might seem harmless to pass the time, sitting for prolonged periods can unnecessarily strain your blood vessels, making a delicate situation even worse. The bathroom is not a place for extended periods. It's a place to complete a necessary task and move on. Above all, remember that maintaining good health isn't always about avoiding dramatic health events. It's also about cultivating small, daily habits that protect us. The seemingly insignificant things, such as how we sit, how we breathe, and how we treat our bodies during moments of vulnerability, are the very things that can either build our health or erode it over time. The lessons shared here today serve as a reminder that daily health care is vital, particularly in the morning. It's in these small, often overlooked actions, how we exercise, wake up, or go about our daily routines, that we can have the most significant impact on our health. Take your time, listen to your body, and approach these moments with mindfulness. Careful, thoughtful actions today will safeguard your well-being tomorrow. As we age, it's natural to start thinking about what we will leave behind. But it's not just about money or material possessions. It's about passing down the values, wisdom, and teachings that will shape the future of our children. The most enduring gifts we can leave them are those that enrich their lives in ways that money simply cannot. Below are 4 crucial things that every elder should consider leaving for their children, ensuring not only their material well-being but also a prosperous future grounded in enduring values. 1. Leave high morals and virtues. High morals and virtues are the very bedrock of a fulfilling, meaningful life. These principles are far more than just guidelines for personal conduct. They are the foundation upon which a family can grow, thrive, and carry on through generations. In many cultures, including Vietnamese traditions, the phrase "accumulate virtues for children" has long been more than advice. It is a guiding force that shapes the behavior of parents and elders. We are not born with these values, but they are cultivated over time, through deliberate choices and actions. Imagine the lasting impact on your children's future if they inherit not just material wealth, but a legacy of honesty, kindness, integrity, and respect for others. These virtues are the invisible treasures that mold a child into someone who stands firm in their values, even when the world around them may be chaotic or indifferent. This is the kind of inheritance that truly shapes a person's destiny, and it lasts for far longer than any bank account balance ever could. When we act with integrity and compassion, we set an example for our children to follow. They see how we treat others, how we maintain our honesty in difficult situations, and how we offer help and care to those around us. This is not just about doing good at the moment. It's about creating a culture of goodness that extends across generations. Unfortunately, when these ethical values are absent, when elders fail to embody them, it can have a devastating ripple effect. It's heartbreaking to think that a lack of morals can tarnish not only the individual but the entire family's name. Children raised in such an environment may face societal judgment and prejudice that limits their growth and opportunities. On the other hand, A legacy of virtue empowers our children to stand tall, not just in the eyes of their peers but in the broader community. They inherit not just the good habits and compassion we have nurtured in them, but also the respect and admiration of others, which opens doors to new opportunities and gives them the strength to face life's challenges with resilience. We are not just leaving them with values. We are leaving them with the key to thrive in a world that often seems to place importance on fleeting things. In the end, the most precious gift we can offer our children is not the fortune we leave them, but the unwavering, timeless virtues that will guide them through the storms of life. Because these virtues, more than anything else, are what will truly ensure their long-term prosperity, both personally and in the way they are viewed by society. Let's not forget that how we live today will echo through the lives of our children tomorrow, shaping their success in ways we may never fully understand. So, leave them the legacy of high morals and virtues, and watch them flourish in ways that money could never achieve. 2. Teach children to earn money honestly. Teaching children how to earn money honestly is one of the most important gifts you can give them, and it's something that has the power to truly transform their lives. While leaving behind assets or wealth is undeniably important, it's crucial to understand that money, no matter how much you have, is not as sustainable or meaningful as the ability to earn it. The age-old saying, "Teach a man to fish rather than give him a fish," could not be more relevant when it comes to preparing the next generation for success. If you only leave behind money, you may set your children up for short-term gain, but they might quickly squander it, unable to sustain that wealth over time. However, if you take the time to teach them the value of hard work, creativity, and perseverance, you are giving them a much more valuable and enduring gift: the ability to earn, grow, and protect their wealth independently. As someone who has lived through years of experience, you must share the knowledge you've gained throughout your life, especially your business insights and your asset management skills. This can be a powerful legacy. By helping your children understand the importance of labor and the fulfillment that comes from earning money through honest work, you are teaching them invaluable lessons that will guide them throughout their lives. It's about more than just money. It's about shaping their character, their work ethic, and their ability to thrive on their own. Raising children who understand the value of hard work, who appreciate the effort that goes into earning, and who embrace their self-reliance is one of the most profound gifts you can offer. It's not just about financial success, but about nurturing a mindset that can lead them through any challenge life throws their way. Moreover, encouraging them to think entrepreneurially, to be courageous in pursuing their passions, and to be innovative in their approach to work will lay a strong foundation for their future. This entrepreneurial spirit, once ignited, will fuel their ambitions and create a ripple effect that can help them not only sustain their wealth but also continuously grow it. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. In the end, money that comes from your efforts is far more satisfying and long-lasting than money that was handed to you. It's the lessons, the sweat, and the determination that you instill in your children that will allow them to flourish, and that legacy will be passed down for generations to come. So, take the time to teach them not just how to manage money, but how to respect and earn it with honesty and integrity. This is the real wealth you can leave them. 3. Leave a healthy body. A healthy body is truly one of the greatest blessings a person can offer their family, and its significance cannot be overstated. Health is not merely a personal treasure. It is a priceless gift that radiates outwards, touching everyone around you. For every individual, maintaining good health is vital. It is the foundation upon which a happy, fulfilling life is built. But what many don't realize is that health is not just about the individual. It has an undeniable ripple effect that impacts the entire family. When an elderly person falls ill, it is not only their body that suffers but their loved ones as well. The burden of pain, worry, and financial strain often falls upon the children, who find themselves scrambling to care for their aging parents. This reality can create deep emotional stress and strain relationships, making it difficult for families to thrive. That's why taking care of our health from an early age is so crucial, not just for ourselves but for the well-being of our loved ones. It's a beautiful gift to be able to grow old without becoming a burden to those who have cared for us throughout our lives. Imagine the joy of knowing that your children won't have to spend their days worrying about your health, scrambling for resources, or sacrificing their well-being to care for you. Instead, when we make the effort to stay healthy, whether through regular exercise, healthy eating, or routine health checkups, we can continue to live independently, free from the pain and limitations that often come with aging. A healthy body gives us the freedom to embrace life with vitality, energy, and joy, even as we grow older. It also allows us to be a positive force in the lives of the younger generation. Healthy elders are a source of strength, inspiration, and emotional support for their children and grandchildren. They provide a living example of resilience, wisdom, and the importance of taking care of oneself, showing others that it's possible to thrive at any age. Taking the time to maintain our health is not just a personal investment, it's an act of love for our families. By prioritizing our well-being, we are not only ensuring our happiness, but we are also bringing peace of mind to those we cherish. There is something profoundly moving about knowing that we are not only giving ourselves the chance to enjoy life to its fullest, but we are also contributing to the happiness and harmony of our families. Let's remember that every step we take toward better health is a step toward a happier, stronger, and more connected family. 4. Leave filial piety, Hugh. Filial piety, or Hugh, is one of the most profound and beautiful expressions of love within a family, embodying both joy and a deep sense of responsibility. In Eastern culture, this value is not just a tradition but the very foundation of ethical behavior. It goes beyond mere emotions. It calls for genuine respect, a sense of duty, and a profound appreciation for the sacrifices of those who came before us. When elderly individuals pass down the wisdom of filial piety to their children, it becomes a bridge connecting generations, creating a sense of unity and warmth that transforms a family into a close-knit, harmonious unit. I believe that filial piety is a reflection of the deep love we hold for our parents and ancestors. It's not just about caring for them in their old age, though that is undoubtedly an essential part. It's also about nurturing and maintaining a strong family bond, one where respect flows in every direction, toward parents, siblings, and extended family alike. When this principle is upheld, children learn more than just how to care for others. They learn the true meaning of selflessness, compassion, and mutual respect. The impact of this teaching ripples through generations. Children who witness filial piety firsthand grow up understanding their responsibilities within the family, their role in maintaining harmony, and their duty to uphold peace. They see the importance of supporting each other, of standing by one another through thick and thin, and they are taught how to forge strong, loving relationships that transcend the challenges of life. A family that practices filial piety is not just a family. It is a sanctuary where love, respect, and peace flourish, providing a nurturing environment for children to grow into responsible, compassionate adults. In such an environment, there is a lasting sense of prosperity, not just in material wealth, but in the invaluable treasures of love, understanding, and unity. The beauty of filial piety lies in its power to cultivate a cycle of goodness, where each generation enriches the next, and the legacy of love and respect endures forever. Next, please listen to the article. Why do women, when getting old, start to dislike their husbands? 1. Why do women, when getting old, start to dislike their husbands? As people grow older, they often begin to notice profound shifts in their lives, particularly in the way they interact with their partners. In our younger years, we tend to overlook or even tolerate the little quirks and habits of our loved ones. These imperfections that may have once seemed trivial are brushed aside in the excitement of youth and the heat of early love. But as time passes, and decades of marriage unfold with their endless cycles of joy and struggle, those same small issues, once so easy to ignore, can slowly morph into irritants. It's not just that the flaws have grown more pronounced. It's that after years of living together, the accumulated weight of life's challenges can make us feel like we're carrying a burden that our partners no longer share. For many women, this shift becomes especially noticeable after they turn 60. As the years accumulate, they may feel a widening gap between themselves and their husbands. The closeness they once shared feels distant, replaced by a sense of emotional neglect. The support they once received, whether emotional, physical, or even just through small gestures of care, seems to fade away. It's as though the husband who once shared in the responsibilities of the home has become a mere bystander, distant and indifferent to the struggles of daily life. This growing sense of isolation can be deeply painful, leaving many women to feel as though they are shouldering the entirety of their lives, their families, and their responsibilities alone. The problem often lies in the mounting emotional toll of these changes. After decades of marriage, women can find themselves feeling resentful when their husbands stop providing the kind of support and attention they once did. Small things, which were once no big deal, become magnified. The forgotten light left on, the clutter scattered around the house, the lack of help with the dishes or vacuuming, each of these becomes a symbol of something much deeper, a lack of effort, a lack of care. These seemingly minor issues, once brushed aside in the early days of love, now become major sources of irritation and frustration. And as energy and health begin to wane with age, these little annoyances become harder to ignore. What used to be tolerable is now a weight on the soul, and the resulting stress becomes almost unbearable. At this stage in life, physical and mental exhaustion begin to take their toll. What once felt like minor inconveniences can feel like insurmountable obstacles. Imagine a woman, already burdened with the care of grandchildren and the worries of maintaining a home, watching her husband sit idly, watching TV or scrolling aimlessly through his phone while she runs around trying to hold everything together. This stark contrast, the woman laboring, the man detached, can create feelings of deep injustice and emotional exhaustion. The woman might wonder, how did we get here? Where did the love and partnership go? It's heartbreaking when the presence of a husband, once a source of comfort, begins to feel like an emotional burden. The very thought of spending another day in a relationship that feels one-sided can weigh heavily on a woman's heart. And this is not an uncommon experience. It does not mean that the woman has changed, or that she has suddenly become cold and unloving. No, this is the result of decades of emotional and physical wear and tear, years of giving without receiving, of caring without being cared for. The accumulation of these feelings over time can make it almost impossible to overlook the flaws that once seemed so small, leading to a growing emotional distance. The tension in marriage at this stage is not always about a loss of love, but rather a loss of balance, a sense of being unseen and unheard. It's a gradual shift from mutual care to one-sided responsibility. And while it may seem as though the woman has suddenly begun to dislike her husband, the truth is far more complex. It's not about hating him, but rather about the deep emotional exhaustion of having to continue, day after day, in a relationship that no longer feels like a partnership. It's about a weary soul, a tired heart, and a longing for the kind of support and connection that seems to have disappeared somewhere along the way. 2. Differences between expectations and reality cause disappointment. When we enter into marriage, we often do so with a heart full of hope and excitement. Our minds are filled with dreams of a future built on shared experiences, mutual understanding, and a deep partnership. We imagine spending our lives together, supporting one another through the highs and lows, sharing every joy and sorrow, and building a home filled with love and harmony. As we grow older, we envision a peaceful life in our later years, where we can finally take a step back from the stresses of daily life and enjoy the fruits of our labor, surrounded by the love of our spouse. After weathering the storms of life together, we hope to find solace in the calm of shared moments, perhaps even sharing time with our grandchildren, finding joy in the simple things that come with growing old together. However, as much as we dream of this beautiful and fulfilling future, reality can sometimes feel like a cruel wake-up call, and the life we expect doesn't always align with what we experience. As the years pass and we grow older, many women come to realize that the support they once dreamed of from their husbands is slowly disappearing. Instead of sharing the burdens and joys of life, they often find themselves shouldering the weight of family responsibilities alone. It's not that their husbands are intentionally neglecting their duties, but rather that over time, their involvement in family matters, whether it's doing household chores, cooking meals, or helping care for grandchildren, begins to dwindle. As a result, the woman is left to carry the lion's share of the load, while her partner drifts further away, caught in his world. This can be an incredibly painful realization. The dreams and expectations we once held about shared responsibility and teamwork in marriage seem to slip further and further away. The physical exhaustion from managing the house, preparing meals, and looking after grandchildren can be overwhelming. But it's not just the physical demands of these tasks that weigh heavily on the heart, it's the emotional burden that comes with it. After so many years of sacrifice, giving everything to the family, and nurturing the marriage, the feeling of being abandoned can creep in. It's not simply about doing all the chores or not receiving help. It's about the emotional disconnection that starts to form between the couple. There's a deep sense of loneliness that settles in when you realize that the person you've shared so much of your life with is no longer there to share the load. The disappointment is not just in the lack of help, but in the feeling of being unseen, unappreciated, and undervalued. The sense of abandonment can be more heart-wrenching than anything else. It's as if, over time, the love and partnership that once defined a relationship are slowly slipping through your fingers. You begin to wonder how you got to this place, how the years of sacrifice and dedication have not resulted in the emotional connection and support you had hoped for. When you've given so much of yourself, it can be incredibly disheartening to feel like you're left to do everything on your own. This emotional neglect creates a deep wound that can fester, leaving you feeling exhausted, both physically and emotionally. You may even start to feel resentful, not just because of the practical responsibilities you bear, but because of the emotional distance that grows between you and your spouse. As we age, our needs change. Yes, we still desire material stability and wealth, but more than that, we crave emotional support, companionship, and the comfort of knowing that the person we've spent our lives with is still there for us. We long for that deep connection, for the kind of partnership where both people are still invested in each other's well-being, no matter how old they get. When this doesn't happen, when we are left to fend for ourselves, emotionally and physically, it creates a profound sense of disappointment. It is the kind of disappointment that digs deep into the soul, one that is hard to explain and even harder to heal. It's not just about unmet expectations. It's about feeling neglected, forgotten, and ultimately alone in a relationship that once promised so much. Over time, this disappointment can turn into a heavy psychological burden, one that's hard to shake off. It can feel as though the years of your life have been spent investing in a marriage that no longer brings you the emotional fulfillment you so desperately need. The emotional strain that comes with this unbalanced relationship can feel like an insurmountable weight, one that affects your mental health, your well-being, and your sense of self. It's not just a matter of doing the tasks. It's about feeling like you're giving everything, only to receive less and less in return. The emotional toll it takes on a person can feel crushing, especially when it seems like no matter how much you give, there is no one there to support you in return. And what's even more devastating is that it's often left unspoken. Many women endure this in silence, putting on a brave face and continuing to carry the burden, all the while feeling increasingly isolated and unheard. The feeling of abandonment can be suffocating, and the loneliness that comes from this emotional disconnect is often harder to bear than the physical exhaustion of doing it all alone. No one tells you that marriage in later years might look like this, a silent, slow drift apart. The psychological impact of this can be profound, creating a sense of emotional exhaustion that is far more difficult to overcome than any physical fatigue. As we get older, we want to feel seen, cherished, and supported. We want to feel that after all the years of hard work, sacrifice, and love, we are still valued by the person we once shared everything with. But when this doesn't happen, when our expectations of companionship and emotional support are dashed, it can feel like a betrayal. It's a wound that, if left unaddressed, only grows deeper, creating an emotional chasm that becomes harder to bridge with each passing year. What's left is not just the disappointment of unmet expectations, but the painful reality of feeling truly alone, even in the company of the person who once promised to be there through it all. 3. Health issues and living habits create more distance. As we grow older, our health inevitably becomes one of the most pressing concerns, not just for ourselves but also for our loved ones. For married couples, this can be particularly challenging. Health issues can strain a relationship, especially when one partner continues to ignore the importance of maintaining healthy habits. I believe that as we age, we should become more mindful of our bodies, not just for ourselves but for the sake of the person we've spent so many years with. Sadly, some men, despite their bodies showing clear signs of deterioration, refuse to change their unhealthy habits. Whether it's smoking, drinking, or simply being lazy, these choices can create immense tension in family life. It's heartbreaking to witness someone you love self-destruct, and for many wives, this feels like an emotional burden they can't bear. When a husband continues to smoke heavily, it isn't just his health that's at risk, it's also the wife's. The wife becomes a passive participant in his bad habits, inhaling toxic smoke while she watches the man she loves slowly harm himself. The frustration and anxiety she feels are compounded when she knows she has no control over the situation. But what hurts the most is that she isn't just worried about his physical health. She's also shouldering the emotional weight of his disregard for their shared future. She becomes the one who picks up the pieces every time his bad habits catch up to him. When he falls ill, she's the one by his side, playing nurse and caretaker, while she quietly wishes this time could be different. Wishing for a partner who could take better care of himself so that they could care for each other instead. Instead, it feels like a one-sided relationship, and with every illness, the weight of his irresponsibility grows heavier on her shoulders. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. But it doesn't stop at health. As our bodies age, our routines can become habits that widen the emotional gap between a couple. There's something deeply saddening about watching a spouse retreat into the comforts of their world, disengaging from family activities. The husband who spends hours in front of the TV or lost in his phone, while his wife continues to bear the responsibilities of managing the house and caring for grandchildren, feels emotionally distant. I think many wives can relate to this experience. The feeling of loneliness even though their partner is physically present. It's a profound emotional disconnect that leaves them feeling like they're doing everything alone, with no one to share the burden of life with. In addition to the emotional toll, simple everyday habits can add to the feeling of distance. Health issues like persistent snoring, a constant cough, or neglecting basic hygiene may not seem like a big deal to some, but to the wife who is trying to get a good night's sleep or share a peaceful moment, these behaviors create an uncomfortable barrier. It's as if the person they once knew has become a stranger, and the shared space of their home no longer feels like a place of connection, but a place of discomfort. It's a constant reminder that the gap between them has widened, and it's difficult not to feel like a partner who was once a source of joy and love has become nothing more than an obstacle in their day-to-day life. The emotional toll of these health and living habits can leave the wife feeling exhausted, alone, and unappreciated. As time passes, what once was a relationship of mutual support begins to feel more like a burden, and that feeling of companionship slowly fades away. Instead of growing old together with shared experiences and mutual care, the wife may feel trapped in a life she didn't sign up for, where she's constantly giving but receiving very little in return. This distance, this quiet, unspoken divide, is one of the hardest aspects of growing old with someone who refuses to take responsibility for their health and well-being. It's painful, but it's also a reality many couples face as they grow older. As we reflect on the challenges that health issues and living habits can create in a relationship, it's clear that growing older is not just about aging physically. It's also about how we show up for the ones we love, how we care for ourselves, and how we nurture the bonds that matter most. So, what have you learned from this discussion? What's one thing you'll take from today's video and apply in your own life to build stronger, healthier connections with those around you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share in the comments below one thing you've learned and how you plan to bring it into practice in your life. If you found this video valuable, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us keep creating content to inspire and guide you on your journey.